Right now on Wake Up, the San Jose home that's been hit by cars over a dozen times. What the city is now doing to help this homeowner. Plus, the teenagers facing charges after beating and robbing a woman in San Francisco. Why one of those suspects can't be tried as a juvenile.
And we're waking up with some fog along the coast and in some valley locations. We're going to break down your forecast straight ahead.
Welcome to Wake Up on KION News Channel 46.
Good morning. If you're just joining us, it's Tuesday, August 16th. Welcome to Wake Up. I'm Taryn Mitchell. So our Carmel Valley community is mourning after a mother and her 3 children were killed in a car crash Sunday evening. That deadly crash happened on Highway 156 near Fairview Road in Hollister. The Carmel Valley family was driving in a Tesla when it was hit head-on by a tractor trailer. Well, at this time, authorities say that they're still combing through the details. We hear now from a witness to the crash, and school officials. Veronica Macias takes a closer look for us.
Showing you video of the accident from a distance out of respect for the family. The person taking this video in disbelief. Ramiro Rodriguez was just yards away when it happened.
I heard this big noise, and I looked that way and I saw a truck, and it was bumpy, And I saw a lot of dirt, and I thought it had a flat tire or something. I didn't put any attention to it, so I keep irrigating. Then like 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later, I see all this traffic stop. And I went up there, it was a big accident.
Twins Lucy and Lee were in 8th grade. Their younger brother Ben in 6th. All 3 Villacana children went to Carmel Middle School. And today, students and staff are in mourning. Ted Knight is the superintendent for Carmel Unified.
Coming back this second week of school to this news this morning was certainly very tragic and was hard for a lot of staff and students to hear. Anytime we have a situation like this, we experience loss in our community, there's grief. We were able to sit our students down and our staff this morning and share with them the tragic news and also the resources that we have available for them.
The CHP is trying to figure out why the Tesla they were in crossed into oncoming traffic on Highway 156 near Fairview Road. The Tesla hitting a tractor trailer at a high rate of speed. As the investigation continues into what went wrong, for now students at the school will continue to receive support from school officials.
Some students did need to go home. Some students are in our wellness center talking with mental health professionals. Others might have just needed a little quiet time, but certainly whatever they need, we are here to support.
That's Veronica Macias reporting there. CHP says that they're looking into if that Tesla was being self-driven. It was a 2014 model, and the company started including self-driving technology to all their cars after October of 2014. And another family is mourning the loss of a loved one after a deadly DUI crash on Highway 68. This all took place near Spreckles Boulevard Saturday evening. A black BMW was traveling westbound when, for an unknown reason, it crossed the 2-way left turn traffic lane. It then collided with a red Toyota Camry. The 48-year-old man driving the Camry died at the scene, and his passenger is suffering some very serious injuries. A man driving behind the Camry avoided the crash by slamming on his brakes, but was hit by some debris. Well, thankfully, everyone in that vehicle is expected to be okay. Let's go ahead and pull up the driver of that BMW, who's now being identified as Daniel John Weddle. He was arrested at the scene that day. He's been booked into the Monterey County Jail for DUI and vehicular manslaughter. It's been a very devastating few days, to say the least, on our Central Coast roads. Well, we just told you about 5 deaths, but 4 other people were also killed in car crashes in our area over the weekend. Well, that brings the total of lives lost to now 9. On Saturday, a 27-year-old died in a crash in Hollister. A few hours later, a pedestrian was killed in Monterey. They were walking along Highway 1 near Springfield Road. Just that same day, a man who had been out hunting died in Monterey County after rolling over in his car. Following this, on Sunday, an 18-year-old was killed in a single-vehicle car crash. That's after his car rolled over on Highway 1 near Light Fighter Drive in Seaside. Located across the street from the Jackson Avenue exit of 680 over in San Jose, Ray Minter's home is a very easy target for those careless drivers. Sean Chitness tells us more.
How many times has someone come and hit your property? About 23 times.
He says since the early 1970s, he's seen cars miss the street and crash into his front yard.
Every time we've been hit, we've been home.
Recently, it's drivers failing to complete a right turn. The cost adds up with him having to repair the damage and find new ways to keep cars from his house.
4 times where they've gone as far as the kitchen.
Thankfully, insurance has covered most of the mess created by driver after driver. Minter installed steel poles on his property line, even if the city advises against it. He also has a brick wall with cement poles and heavy rocks to try to keep future cars from coming to the house.
If I don't have them here, they're going to surely kill one of us.
His house may be the closest to the Jackson exit off of 680, but there are other houses along this street that also have to worry about someone crashing into their property.
That house, this one, that one.
Over the years, Minter has tried talking to city and state agencies, asking his elected officials for help, and looked into getting a lawyer. He thinks preventing cars from attempting a wide turn coming off the freeway would be one way to reduce the crashes and avoid someone getting hurt.
Take out the center lane. No right-hand turns from the center.
The city of San Jose says it has requested grant money for a project to make changes to the intersection and add a median for this corridor of Jackson Avenue. If approved, the money to start the project would arrive next summer.
Minter says that he isn't losing any sleep because he's actually used to some of these crashes, but he's prepared to wake up when another one in front of his yard just any given day. Let's shift gears this morning. Wake up time just a little bit after 5:35. Let's check your weather on the 5 and take a look at your screen. It is foggist in full effect, as Max says. Use those cautions for sure this morning on the road. Let's check in with Max. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. We are waking up with some more fog this morning, and it's actually been getting thicker and thicker as we've been going through the morning today. So very similar to what we were dealing with yesterday. In fact, some spots a little less foggy than we were dealing with yesterday, which is the good news, but some spots also a little bit more foggy than they were yesterday. So it kind of depends on where you are, and there's so many different microclimates that's really what can happen. So welcome to Tuesday, and hope you enjoy some of the foggy weather out there today. Temperatures are pretty comfortable. They're in the 50s pretty much everywhere along the coast. Inland, though, things are warm, especially through the Salinas Valley. It's in the 60s, and then further inland, closer to the Central Valley, we're dealing with temperatures in the 70s already. So crazy weather out there as far as what we wake up to, because things by the coast are in the 50s and cool. Big Sur's even 49, and some spots are even 70 degrees already. So it's just wild. Here's a look now at the Futurecast, showing you where we have some of those clouds and where they're going. The big system off to our east is still in full effect, but it's really not doing too much in our neck of the woods. We will get some clouds in the overnight from that system stretching from some of the Central Valley locations, as you can see here. So parts of Hollister will get some clouds from that system. Parts of Los Banos and Gilroy might get some as well. And then we also will see some clouds coming in from the Bay in the overnight hours. So about 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, this is what we can expect. Here's a look at your morning planner. And as we head through the next couple of hours, we're going to be dealing with temperatures in the 50s, 61 by about 9 o'clock. And we're going to break down your high temperatures coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Max, thank you. San Francisco police have made multiple arrests in the case of a woman who was beaten and robbed. Well, the eldest of those 4 suspects is just 18, and the youngest is only 11 years old. We do need to warn you this morning that some of the video you're about to witness is very graphic. Luz Pena has the story.
15 days ago, 70-year-old Mrs. Wren was robbed and attacked by multiple suspects inside her apartment complex. Today, SFPD announced those suspects have been identified.
18-year-old Oakland resident Daryl Moore and 3 juvenile suspects ages 11, 13, and 14.
The suspects were booked on several charges, with the exception of the 14-year-old who still has a warrant for his arrest, and the 11-year-old cannot be charged due to his age. The charges are the following: robbery, elderly abuse, burglary, false imprisonment, and conspiracy. Community leaders are urging other victims of attacks to speak out, pointing to these arrests as a sign of justice.
We've seen a continued wave of these horrible and despicable attacks, and we know they are not isolated incidents.
We spoke to SFPD's Lieutenant Kevin Healy, who said this video was key to identify the suspects and confirmed the 18-year-old is known by many law enforcement officers.
I can tell you that not with just the identification with the investigation, BART PD assisted, Oakland PD, Alameda County Juvenile Probation, Milpitas Police Department, and definitely SFPD officers. They're the ones that are out there working every day hard. They were the ones who identified the suspects in this case for us.
San Francisco's new district attorney had a strong message about prosecuting these suspects.
I commend the San Francisco Police Department for solving this so quickly, and we will take it from here.
San Francisco DA Brooke Jenkins also adds that the 18-year-old will have some charges filed in adult court, while the two other juveniles will go through juvenile system. While the 11-year-old will be handled as more of a community issue since he is too young to be charged with that crime. And the FBI has helped recover more than 80 children in child sex trafficking crackdowns. Authorities say that agents found 84 victims during a 2-week nationwide initiative just this month. Now, the average age range of those rescued was just about 15. The youngest victim is just 11. Operation Cross Country also located 37 missing children and 141 adult victims of human trafficking. They've identified or arrested a total of 85 suspects. The Justice Department wants to keep details of the search at former President Donald Trump's home very private, but lawmakers on both sides just want more answers. Bradley Blackburn has a closer look.
The Justice Department is opposed to releasing the affidavit that led to last week's search of former President Trump's Mar-a-Lago residence. In a court filing Monday, the DOJ said disclosing it at this time would, quote, cause significant and irreparable damage to this ongoing criminal investigation. As for what was seized during the August 8th FBI search, a law enforcement source confirms to CBS News that passports belonging to the former president were taken by investigators, but later returned. The FBI says it also recovered 11 sets of classified material from Mar-a-Lago, some of which may be so sensitive it can only be read in a secure location with tight controls.
Whenever I and fellow members of the Intelligence Committee have viewed these types of documents, there are literally people standing over our shoulders.
Republicans are now pursuing any communications between the FBI, DOJ, and National Archives related to Trump's presidential records.
We have this list from the FBI, but we don't have conclusive as to whether or not this actually is classified material and whether or not it rises to the level of the highest classified material.
Meanwhile, FBI headquarters in Washington and field offices around the country remain on high alert following online threats of violence against law enforcement. An intelligence memo said some threats are, quote, specific in identifying proposed targets, tactics, or weaponry. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
President Trump gave his first initial review following the FBI search, saying he's reached out to the DOJ to offer any help he can amid various threats to law enforcement. Well, coming up on Wake Up, the study that says the United States is only getting hotter. What areas could start seeing 125-degree heat on a regular basis? Plus, a fraternity is breaking away from a California university. Why some students say this move creates more of an unsafe partying environment.
And here's a look at temperatures out the door. A comfortable start, but we are dealing with some fog, especially along the coast. We're breaking down your forecast on the other side of the break. Here's a live look from Mount Toro. We'll see you in 2.
The Central Coast CW is social. Like the Central Coast CW on Facebook.
In the Middle Ages, the remedy for tooth decay was to kiss a donkey.
Hurry up!
Today, there's a better way to help keep decay away. ACT. With fortifying fluoride, it can make teeth up to 4 times stronger.
Next.
ACT. Long live your teeth.
Pesky leaks? Gorilla Waterproof Patch and Seal Spray seals out water, air, and moisture. Stops and prevents leaks indoors, outdoors, and virtually anywhere you need for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Now's the time to rethink school. With 0 distractions, 0 interruptions, 0 chaos.
We're not gone.
just personalized, tuition-free learning with state-certified teachers, all from the safety of home. K12.com. Enroll now.
Char Farms is a riding stable. Roy is the manager here. I was having great difficulty walking.
It was painful to see Pamela hurting like that. We've tried everything.
Nothing worked.
And we'd heard about the Good Feet store. Put those arch supports in our boots.
I can keep up with my husband when he starts moving.
It's extraordinary. She's Pam.
He's Roy, and that's our Good Feet story.
See for yourself with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We are here today to auction off the 4 best roofing companies in town. Let's get started, folks. How about Fly By Night Roofing? I'm looking for a taker for Fly By Night Roofing. No taker. Next, we have Tail Light Guaranteed Roofing. Do I have a taker? No takers. Next, we have Nutty Roofing Incorporated. I'm a-looking. No takers. How about Knox Roofing? Any takers for Knox Roofing? Sold to the lady in the corner. Number 5. That was a great choice.
Thanks, folks.
Back, a new study finds more than 100 million Americans will be living in much hotter areas by mid-century. According to the climate research nonprofit group First Street Foundation, that is, extreme heat and humidity from climate change will bring extremely dangerous heat to the U.S. over the course of the next 30 years. The intensity and frequency of the hottest days of the year will also be increasing. That study also adds that the extreme heat belt from the Texas to the Great Lakes will then experience temperatures above 125 degrees during their hottest stretches of the year. Whew, don't like all that heat. 5:45 though. Let's get a check on the forecast. You know, I was in your neck of the woods yesterday. It was hot on that side.
It gets hot inland for sure. I used to live in Yuma, Arizona, and it gets really hot down there. It was 126 degrees the day that I moved away, so I can relate to some of that heat. They say it's dry heat, which it does make a little bit of a difference, but only about that much. As we're headed out this morning, we're talking about temperatures that are comfortable, though, not temperatures in the 100s. It's about 55 in Monterey right now, so that feels really nice. It's about 55 in Santa Cruz, and Watsonville's about 52. Gilroy, it's 51 right now. That's one of our cooler spots this morning, along with Big Sur, where things are 49. The Salinas Valley's in the low 60s, so yeah, comfortable across the board. Here's a look at the satellite. You can see some of those clouds and fog building in some of those inland valley locations near Salinas, parts of Watsonville and Castroville, dealing with some building fog this morning. So that's the story, and we've really been seeing that the last couple of days. Visibility is impacted. You can see Hollister and Gilroy still in the clear, about 10 miles of visibility for you, but Watsonville is at 0 miles, and Salinas is at 1 mile. We have about a half mile along the coast, so just be mindful out there. About a mile over in Boulder Creek up in the Santa Cruz Mountains. Make sure you're using your low beams because those high beams just tend to reflect all the light with all those particles floating around in the air, which makes it bad for you and for the other drivers out there. Here's a look at the Futurecast showing you clouds moving out to the bay and really out to the coast later on today, and then this evening they'll kind of make their way back in. We'll also get some more clouds moving in from this pressure system that's inland, so we will be seeing some clouds coming from both directions out there. There could be some moisture in these clouds as well, obviously coming from that monsoonal moisture coming up from parts of Arizona and parts of Nevada. You can see though, it's really going to start to mix as we head into your Wednesday. Here's a look at your forecast for today. 76 up in Santa Cruz. It's going to be about 73 in Capitola. Felton 86 degrees for you, and Bonnie Doon will be about 82. Those overnight temperatures will be in the 50s. Some spots in the 60s. As we move on down the bay, though, you can see temperatures are going to remain in the 60s along the coast for Marina and Castroville. It'll be about 75 for Aptos and Watsonville. Morgan Hill, though, will be 100 today. Gilroy 96. And Hollister 94. Salinas will be 77 today, and then those overnight temperatures will be in the 50s. As we move on to the peninsula here, you can see there things are going to be comfortable in the mid 60s, so pretty typical for you. 72 in Seaside. That might get a little warm for some people without air conditioning, but overnight you'll get down into the 50s, so you can open up the windows again. Here's a look a little bit further south at southern Monterey County. Bradley 101 today, Parkfield 104, and King City will be the hot spot at 105. Overnight temperatures will be in the 60s, but today along the coast, Big Sur 91 for you. Here's a look at the next 7 days. Along the coast, it's going to be super consistent, really not too much change over the next 7 days. Mid-60s during the day, mid-50s overnight. And then for our inland spots, we'll be in the 90s and 80s on average for the next 7 days. So we'll see a warm up today, but things will start to cool down as we head into the weekend. Next week will be warm again. And then those overnights will be in the mid-50s for the next 7 days. That's a look at your full forecast. Back over to the news.
All right, Max, thank you. Several fraternities have served ties with the University of Southern California ahead of some of their students returning. Well, some students say this move creates more of an unsafe partying environment around the entire campus. Nicole Comstock has her students' reactions there.
Pi Kappa Alpha and Tau Kappa Epsilon are among 10 of 14 USC fraternities who have now cut ties to the university and formed their own interfraternity council.
That really affects the women on campus. Like, we can't go to parties anymore without feeling threatened.
Marlene Ayala says one of her friends was sexually assaulted at a fraternity party here last year, after which multiple similar reports sparked protests on campus. And this move makes them feel like some frats could be even less safe in the future.
The sexual assault prevention and all that, they're just gonna ignore it and start doing what they want.
And the university's response isn't far off. USC said in part, this decision seems to be driven by the desire to eliminate university oversight of their operations. The members are chafing at procedures and protocols designed to prevent sexual assault and drug abuse and deal with issues of mental health and underage drinking.
Sexual assault and all this harassment stuff is unacceptable.
But student Vyas Srinivasan thinks the frats and the university should be able to come to a better solution.
I think fraternities can find a way to make it safer so they can abide by those new safety rules.
The newly formed University Park IFC says its student leaders are committed to safety. They responded in writing, saying in part, over the past several years, the partnership between fraternity chapters in USC has been deteriorating, with significant deterioration throughout the past year, stemming from a USC suspension of nearly all organizational activities lasting more than 90 days.
That was Nicole Comstock there reporting. So the new fraternity council says that some frats aren't treated fairly, and until that happens, they'll choose to operate just independently. All right, wake up time, 5:51. We're back in just a couple minutes. Stick with us, folks.
This portion of the news has been brought to you by Selena's Pal.
Today, my friend, you took delicious Centrum multi-gummies and took one more step towards taking charge of your health. They're packed with essential nutrients for energy and immunity support. So every day, you can say, with Centrum multi-gummies.
Associated Services is currently hiring experienced service techs, installers, and salespeople in heating, cooling, and solar. Associated Services has been servicing Monterey County for 20 years and offers top wages with benefits, paid time off, and flexible hours. Call us today at 831-757-4577 for a confidential interview to discuss your experience and goals for advancement. Associated Services, proudly serving our customers over 20 years and going.
Associated Services, you're always comfortable with us.
We're in labor.
She's having a baby.
Right now.
Now?
Well, my dad's gonna kill me.
This explains violent mood swings. My boobs are burning rocks. Yeah, I love her as much as I love you. Nothing you just said helps at all.
Bump, new CW series this Thursday at 8/7 Central.
Find your Central Coast CW on these channels.
Can you believe someone thought this would help you hear better? Genius. Now this is Eargo, made to be heard, not seen.
Shop our summer sale for up to $600 off.
When wildfires threaten, you can trust KION News Channel 46 to keep you safe.
We're tracking a fast-moving wildfire burning in Aromas right now.
Keeping you up to date with important information.
The fire burning right around this area here. The wind speeds are fluctuating.
Alerting you when the flames get close.
At least 4 structures are immediately threatened.
This wildfire season, count on KION News Channel 46, breaking news first.
If you're thinking about renting a new home anytime soon, you may want to hold off just a little bit. Nearly 6% of people were hit with a rent increase just in the past year alone. That is according from a study from Freddie Mac. Just about 38% of those renters say that they saw an increase in take-home pay, but the study also found inflation has altered plans for many potential home buyers. Makeup time, 5:53. We're back in a couple minutes. Stick with us.
Share breaking news, photos, and videos on the KION News Channel 546 app.
We are here on the beautiful Monterey Peninsula with Dr. Gail Lebovic, a Monterey local herself and the inventor of NasoCleanse, a revolutionary new health product for your nose. Doctor, why is nasal hygiene so important?
It's really interesting. I don't think the nose gets the respect it deserves. The nose works really hard, can filter up to 7,000 liters of air a day. And that air goes right into our lungs, which is the core of our body. So allergens, toxins, pollutants, everything can get stuck in the front part of our nose, and we decided, look, it's important to keep that area clean. And so we committed our team of engineers and myself and other physicians to creating a product that people could use every day.
Well, there you have it. Show your nose some respect and pick up NasoCleanse locally in the Monterey area, exclusively at these locations or online.
Now the faithful are ready for a road game in Trey Lance's home state. 49ers Vikings, Saturday on KION News Channel 46.
In the Middle Ages, the remedy for tooth decay was to kiss a donkey.
Hurry up!
Today, there's a better way to help keep decay away. ACT. With fortifying fluoride, it can make teeth up to 4 times stronger.
Next.
ACT. Long live your teeth.
Pesky leaks? Gorilla Waterproof Patch and Seal Spray seals out water, air, and moisture. Stops and prevents leaks indoors, outdoors, and virtually anywhere you need for the toughest jobs on planet Earth.
Welcome back. Sweltering heat is sweeping across the nation, but wouldn't it be much better with the wind in your face on a roller coaster? Well, if you can have one near you, you can go travel to one because today is National Roller Coaster Day. It is observed every year on August 16th, according to nationaldaycalendar.com. It was on that day in 1898 that Edwin Prescott patented the first vertical loop roller coaster. My goodness, I have not been in a roller coaster in forever, but I do love me some Six Flags.
Yes, highly recommend. I love roller coasters. They give you a little
It's like
jolt
a
to
thrill.
life. Yeah, exactly.
You know that feeling when like your stomach feels like it's gonna come out? I mean, sometimes it feels like that here, but
Yeah,
you know, it's all good.
It's all good. Yeah, sometimes it just spins you for a loop, doesn't it?
Always, always.
Well, things today feeling pretty good as you're headed out. We do have some more fog we're dealing with though, but pretty typical. 55 degrees. In Monterey, it's calm, and we're dealing with Fogust. Hotter for some inland spots today, so keep that in mind, but it's going to be cloudy and comfortable along the coast. Right now, it's comfortable outside in the 50s and 60s. We're dealing with some clouds today, but it'll not be too bad.